Okay, this is the 2-bedroom residential suite. All of the suites are 100 amp service. There's no change in size. In this suite, the panel is there. Every suite has its own panel. All the loads within that suite are fed out of its panel. So you won't find a breaker down in the basement that'll turn off lights in the suite.
Just the mains.
Just the mains.
And they're all labeled.
They're all labeled. Yeah. There's panel directors and all.
Everything's
Everything's labeled. All the light fixtures in here are also medium base CFL lamps, standard throughout the building. The only thing to note is the dining room fixture has A19s in it. So that's your standard incandescent lamp. Frosted, 60 watt.
And tell us why.
Cheapest Borscht, because it's on a dimmer.
Yeah.
If you put CFLs in here, they won't work. They will just burn up the lamps. The dining fixture, only the dining fixture in every single suite. So I think these are the only incandescent lamps in the whole building.
So we did that as a feature to give people options in lighting, and I hope it was a good decision, but it's nice for the tenants, but we got to make sure they keep the right bulbs in.
Because I'll put the other ones in.
That'll be part of my move-in spiel.
Yep.
Along with the other tasks.
Can you still buy them?
Yeah, apparently you can, 60 watt down. What's been discontinued is 100 watt incandescent. That's what I heard anyway. That they said they were all discontinued, but apparently it's only things brighter than 60 watt have been discontinued. So my understanding is you still buy 60 watt incandescent. Does that sound right to you?
Well, I know you can buy everything right now, but I think it's in the manufacturing end that they're stopping it.
Yeah.
I don't know, my guess is that you're still going to be able to get them for a long time, because there's just a lot of people that, there's whole huge houses that are wired with dimmers and dimmers alone. So you can't
Until technology catches up with something that can use a compact fluorescent with the dimmer.
And it has to be a magnetic dimmer.
Yeah.
You can do it right now with electronic dimmers, but most houses have all magnetic dimmers, which wouldn't do a CFL.
New LEDs, will they be dimmable?
I think only with electronic dimmers. Otherwise, what you get, it's strobing. The LED starts to flicker. You've seen that probably with dimmers. That's because it's a magnetic dimmer, not an electronic dimmer. But like these are all magnetic dimmers. All unless you request an electronic dimmer, you get magnetic, which doesn't work.
Those bath timers are specifically preventing ventilating out because of the fact it's a new building, correct? Or off-gassing and stuff like that.
Are you referring to new building as in code reasons?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, can the tenants alter those?
Absolutely.
Now, are we going to be left with manuals on how to do this?
How to change the program?
How to change the program?
Yeah, I think it's in the maintenance manuals.
Is it? Okay, because I didn't, when we, with Jordan, that was one, we got manuals, came in each suite.
Oh.
Are we being provided with manuals in each suite here for things like stove?
Yes, and everything is online, and most of it is online already.
Is it for tenant use though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are.
And if possible, if we can have the bath fan timer manual put in here as well. I just haven't seen any in any suite yet.
Somewhere.
They were in a drawer, but we may have pulled them all, but we can make sure we put something together to go in each suite that has that and your bath fan timer so that it's there for the tenants.
Yeah.
We just have to check them and make sure they all have one of each and make sure we leave you the right stuff.
So I think on the kitchen, you've got a different receptacle with the side piece. So
Yes.
how does that work?
So in the past, you had your split receptacle. It was a 15 amps receptacle. So the top half of the plug was on a different circuit than the bottom half of the plug.
Yeah.
That code has changed now, and we're putting 20 amp receptacles. So
So you don't break
the top and the bottom is on the same circuit, but it's 20 amp breaker on it, not a 15 amp breaker.
So what's the purpose of the side thing?
A 20 amp receptacle, which you won't really find in the kitchen appliance that has a 20 amp receptacle, has one of the little tongs is sideways on it.
Okay. So one's like this and one's like that.
Exactly. Sometimes bigger shop vacs have 20 amp receptacles on them, or things that you wouldn't see in the suite. But by code, it's a requirement, because it's a 20 amp receptacle, you should be able to plug a 20 amp device in there.
So on these, if someone has a microwave and a mixer in one receptacle, it shouldn't pop a breaker.
Exactly.
Because that's one of the issues that we're always facing. Somebody's
pop in my breaker for some reason.
Yeah.
But this should fix that, being 20 amp rather than 15.
In theory, yes. You always still can strip it. Unless you're
So
running
is this,
12.
are these plugs each on different?
Okay, so
breakers?
if you're within 1.5 meters of the sink, it's going to be GFI protected.
Yeah.
But you can have 2 receptacles on circuit. This GFI breaker here
I'll get with Fritz.
protects that receptacle as well.
So if that's tripped, this doesn't work?
Yes, so if I press the test button on here and I trip it, that receptacle is now dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
I just-
That was my question.
But the one on the other side is a different 20 amp.
That's on a separate circuit.
Okay.
And it's not within 1.5 meters of the sink, so it doesn't need to be GFI.
Are these piggybacked or are they just actual separate? Answer my question.
There's no daisy chaining now. When you said piggybacking, I used to leapfrog the receptacles, you don't have to do that anymore.
And the bedroom receptacles are a special fault.
Yes, you'll see it there, it has a test
Yeah.
button on it.
And how does that function, just for everybody here to know? How do they function?
The arc fault breakers,
Yeah.
no one really knows.
But what's the purpose of it?
Okay, well, I'll tell you the wording that they tell us what they do. They say they measure the thumbprint of the electrical current.
Okay.
Whatever the heck that means, who knows? Generally, it's similar to a ground fault. In other words, if you have a fault to ground, even on your neutral, it'll trip the breaker. A standard breaker, if you have a fault from neutral to ground, it won't trip the breaker. On a ground fault, it will, because there's a fault to ground. I think the whole theory is that people with electric blankets has been a big one in a bedroom. It's essentially a much more sensitive way of monitoring what the load is. If you have an electric blanket that's 20 years old and has a fault in it, when you plug it in, it will trip the breaker. If you didn't have it, it wouldn't trip the breaker. Not unless there was a fault, like a short.
Are there any units that have light switches which control electrical outlets on the base?
We have ceiling lights.
Switch plugs. Switch plugs, no switch plugs.
No?
No.
Very good. In the whole building?
In the whole building.
Thank you.
The one thing to note with the sweep buzzers as well as part of the fire alarm system, so if somebody pulls a pull station, or if one of the smoke detectors, not including the suite smoke detector, the suite smoke detectors are all standalone within the suite. They don't, if somebody's cooking something and it sets off the detector, it doesn't go outside of the suite. So you're not setting off all the smoke detectors. But if you set off the smoke detector in the hallway, or in any of the hallways, or in anywhere on the main floor, including the office, bowling alley, amenity space, parkade, then the whole building goes into alarm, makes the phone call, all the bells go off, all the strobes go off, and all the sweep buzzers go off. Now the bells go off and they stay going off. The sweep buzzers shut off after, I think, 20 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So these are beep, like beep, 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 or what is it?
I think it's, yeah, kind of like that, but much louder.
Yeah, it's just a steady.
Okay.
But they do shut
Trying to
off.
do viewings when we were doing the testing.
Other places you'll see like two little metal pieces and it says touch to silence. These are not touch to silence. These go off and then they shut off.
Okay.
That's it. They give you one warning.
No.
And the other space up there is if somebody wanted to have a strobe installed for hearing impaired.
So the way that the strobe works is that spot for a strobe actually comes off the smoke detector. So upon request,
Yeah.
there can be a strobe put in that's only titled to that smoke detector.
So it won't strobe if the main building alarms go off.
Exactly.
Really?
It's just tied into the smoke detector.
Is that, I guess that's normal?
Yep.
It must be, I guess, if the engineer okayed it, but
Yep.
it seems weird.
You know, it seems like it's backwards, because that red one is for the common area alarm.
You know, I'd have to check the print and see if we ran a wire for it, because you can't put strobe combos in. So,
Yeah.
so you could pull out the buzzer, put a strobe combo in, and I can't recall right now.
I think there was a
I think
certain
we did.
percentage
It could
that
be.
required. I don't know if it was for every suite, but I think,
The 20%?
yeah, I think
It could be,
be
if
underneath
that's the
or
case,
right.
then we have a strobe wire in behind that buzzer. And so what it would take is you pull off that one, you'd put on a combination on that one, and then the one beside it, you'd put a strobe for the smoke detector.
I think there was a requirement for 20%.
Yeah,
Assuming that
I
you
do
have some
recall
people that are
that.
impaired, sight impaired. Anyway.
So, what happens when somebody down the hall pulls fire alarm, the whole building's off, and we get the call.
Mhm.
So how do we reset it?
No.
Fire department come, what's,
No, fire department's the only one that can reset.
okay,
Yeah, they have to come and give you the clear. Once they give it the all clear, they'll tell us to reset.
okay, okay.